Well, it's been about 11 years since a game like this has been on the radar, with worlds so demented and eerie, but at the same time beautiful and captivating so much that it pulls you in and you just can't stop binge playing. This is We Happy Few. Let's talk about this. Alright, so this is We Happy Few. It was made by Compulsion Games, and this was a game that was actually kickstarted back in 2015. It came into Steam Early Access, and I think it was about a year ago they took it down to where you couldn't download it anymore through Steam Early Access until final release. And I actually had the Steam Early Access version of this and played through it, and the changes that they've made since actual release, while they feel very subtle, there actually are very big changes to the game that helped it a lot. Now, I was actually hoping to have this review done and uploaded way before now. Well, actually, it wasn't going to be way before now. I thought the game released on the 14th. I had my review copy, had started working on my review, but because I thought the game released on the 14th, I was taking my time with my playthrough so I could get a really good, solid review done. Then it released, and by the time it released, it was too late by then. I decided to go ahead and just focus on my playthrough and getting the footage so I can get a good review out to you guys. So sorry this is a little late, but I hope you guys enjoy it. The biggest thing with this game is I can't stop playing it. The world that they've created in this game it's beautiful, and at the same time it's very eerie and scary. It feels like something ripped out of Tim Burton's Nightmares. And I really haven't played a game that did this for me since BioShock. Now, the Dishonored series plays a little bit like this and kind of keeps me pulled in the same way BioShock did. But this game really just, I don't want to stop playing it. Whenever I wake up, whenever I get a chance to play a game, I've been going to this, which has really took its toll on playing any multiplayer games at all, because I've been wanting to play this so much. So I just finished my first playthrough in this, and it's amazing. It's a really good game. Now, like I said, I played the early access version of this game back, it was like a year ago, and back then I liked the game. I thought it was really good. The world was still beautiful. It wasn't too poorly optimized. I've played worse, but it needed a little bit of optimization. But the biggest thing was survival was such a huge factor in the early access version. It was more of a sandbox survival, and they changed that just enough to make it work perfectly. There wasn't as much story back then, and since then they've added quite a bit of story, and they've kind of lowered the bar when it comes to survival. I remember the early access version, I ended up dying so many times from like thirst or dehydration, not eating because I couldn't find any good food. All I could find was rotten food, and then I'd get food poisoning, and then or if I'd get hit, end up needing bandages, and I couldn't craft bandages because you needed certain things, and then I'd end up crafting dirty bandages, I'd get an infection, and I couldn't craft antiseptic, and it was horrible. Like, it was a fun game, but at the same time, it felt like I was playing Ark again. In a server where there was disease, and it was just, the survival aspects were just cranked up. And it was really bad. It was really tough to really enjoy the game and sink time into it, because I'd log in and be like, well, I'm still dying of infection, or I'm still, dehydrated and can't find a canteen, I can't find any water. And but they've really toned that down quite a bit. They haven't got rid of it completely. It's still there. It's still part of the game, but it's not as bad. It's not as overbearing. And that's good, because there's a lot of story in this game that you really want to pay attention to, because the story in the game is really cool, and it's really unique. It's a fresh take, and this is something that you can tell, like, they worked very hard on. And if you have too much of the survival in the game, it kind of takes away from the story. So I like what they did with the changes since early access. They've made it really acceptable to get in and play, still have the survival aspect, but also still really enjoy the story, and focus on the story without having to worry so much, like, well, I can't worry about what's going on here in the story, or I can't pay attention to it because I really need to find a bandage, or I really need to find water. Now, the first and main story in this game is Arthur. Now, Arthur is the main story. Now, there are two other stories that you get to get into after you finish Arthur's. One from a guy named Ollie, and I can't remember what the woman's name is, but you get to play as her. And but Arthur is really the main one that you want to focus on. It's the first one you get, and his story is really, honestly, to me, the coolest one. The other two are just kind of like side characters in Arthur's story. But it's really neat because you end up realizing you're losing your memories from the joy that you're being forced to take, and you're on a journey to find your brother and regain your memories, and you find these masks throughout the game, and you start getting pieces of your memory back. But then a little while into the game, you have to start taking joy again to be able to pass as a normal person in the city, so that you can get out of the city to find your brother. And if you take too much joy, you can start losing more of your memory and stuff. So there's a lot of mechanics here that go well into the story and blend well with the story. Now, I saw Gamespot's review on this game, and that's actually what prompted me mostly to get this review done a little bit faster. I was going to take a little bit more time on it, but after seeing Gamespot's review on it, and they pretty much tore it up. They destroyed the review, and to me, I thought that was so stupid, because I've seen them do reviews on games that are just awful and give them good scores, but yet they were giving this game a bad score. And mostly they were giving it bad scores because of, minor bugs in the game. Now, like, there's the biggest bug I can say is the disappearing enemy bug, which is kind of weird. It happened to me a couple times. You'll be fighting 3 enemies, you'll take out 2 of them, and then the third one is just gone, which really isn't that bad of a bug because it saves you from having to fight another opponent, but at the same time you're just like, where did they go? They vanish. That, or sometimes you'll be going to try to pick a lock on a dresser that's laying down on its side, and your guy will just start picking the air. But, I mean, that doesn't really break the game. So far, I haven't really discovered any game-breaking bugs. They've all been bugs that I can genuinely just take care of and move past, and it doesn't really bother the gameplay whatsoever. And on top of the gameplay with survival and the story, there's also a leveling system where you can level up and get points to put towards attributes and buffs for your characters, so you can kind of customize your playstyle a little bit more. If you want to focus more on stealth, you can put points in there. If you want to focus on combat, put points in there. If you want to focus on just making sure you can just be a tank and take tons of damage, you can put points there. I mean, you can kind of customize the way you're going to play this game so that you can play through it multiple different ways. You can play through it, stealth and fast, or you can play through it with combat and just beating everybody up. So there's different ways you can play the game, so it kind of gives you a chance to play through it multiple times without getting burnt out on it, which is good. But I can't really say that after playing through this game, I think if I play through this game about 2 or 3 more times, I will have seen everything there is to see. So I'm really looking forward to some DLC. Now, I've heard rumors of more DLC coming out. I've also heard of a VR version coming to the PlayStation VR, but I've also heard rumors that they signed on for exclusivity with Microsoft. But I would imagine if the VR version does come to PlayStation VR, that the VR version will also come to Oculus and Vive. I don't think I've seen really any games go to PSVR that weren't also on Oculus or Vive. It doesn't really make sense to do that. But I am looking forward to it if they do that. I have thought about booting up the Vorpex driver and doing a playthrough with this game in VR to see if it changes the experience at all. I've seen a couple people have said that it is possible you can do it. So if you're interested in me doing that and possibly doing a playthrough in VR on this game, leave a comment down below and let me know. If you guys want to see it, I'll do it. It doesn't really bother me. I'm running out of videos to do daily anyway, so I'd gladly do it. But yeah, the biggest plus for this game is definitely the environment. The world is captivating, the story is captivating, it pulls you in, it keeps you busy, it keeps you wanting to play, and I honestly am just having a ton of fun playing this game and don't understand why anybody's giving horribly negative reviews to it. I mean, yeah, there's some bugs that need worked out, but for the most part, this is a really good game, and for $30, it's definitely worth the money. Which brings me to my next point. Have you guys noticed that the good games are all dropping down to $20 and $30 or even free, while the $60 games aren't really doing as good as they used to do? I think the day of $60 games is kind of almost over. I think games as a service and $20 and $30 games is really going to be the future of gaming, which is awesome because that means cheaper games. Because like with this game's $30 and it's probably better than most $60 titles I've played. So let me know what you guys think, though. Have you played We Happy Few? Do you like the game? Are you thinking about getting it? Is there anything more you'd like me to talk about the game rather than just give you guys my opinions on it? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, if you have not played this game, I just suggest don't even bother reading GameSpot's review on it, and if you do, don't pay attention to it. GameSpot has no clue what they're talking about. I've talked to several people that have played this game and love it and have no idea where GameSpot's coming from with their review. It makes no sense. But guys, that's all the time I got for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you like this video and you want to see more, please click that red subscribe button. If you want to know anytime myself or Nathan upload videos, please click that bell icon so you guys can get notifications anytime we upload videos. YouTube's not really sending out notifications anymore. But that's all the time I got for this one. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and I will see you guys next time.